Did I ever tell you about that time old Bubba, what's his name, and the other fella got commissioned by the local pastor to paint the church? Sure thing, that pastor said to Bubba, what's his name, and the other fella, I'll give you boys $1,000 if you paint this church. You got to paint all the way around, top to bottom and bottom to top. And the other thing is you got to buy the paint with the money that I give you. $1,000, paint's got to come out of it. Well, Bubba, what's his name? He starts running numbers in his head, carry the 2 minus the 3 square root of an isosceles triangle. And he came back and said, okay, we'll do it. And as soon as the preacher left, old Bubba, what's his name, turned to the other fella and he said, here's what we're going to do. The preacher said we got to buy the paint with the money he's going to pay us. But we're going to buy half the paint that he thinks we need, and we're going to water down the other half. We're going to thin out that paint and make it go a little further. And old what's-his-face, the other fella, says, well, I don't know about that. And Bubba, what's-his-name, says, just trust me on this. Sure enough, they went and got the paint, they watered it all down, and they started laying the paint on that church. And you know what? It looked pretty darn good. And so Bubba, what's-his-name, turned to the other fella, says, this looks so good, I think we can add more water and save more money. And the other fella says, I don't know if that's such a good idea. Oh, Bubba, what's-his-name? Bubba, what's-his-name, says, you just trust me on this. Okay, he said. So they added more water and they painted some more. Sure enough, they painted all the way around that church, top to bottom, bottom to top, and it looked not too bad. And they stood back to admire their work. And as they were watching the church, they were looking at its beauty and its glory and their wonderful paint job, a big old storm cloud moved right over top of that church. And all of a sudden, lightning flashed and thunder boomed and the rainwater started coming down on that church, and you know exactly what happened. That rainwater washed all that paint away. And poor old Bubba, what's-his-name, and the other fella were so repentant at what had happened, so sorrowful, they fell on their knees and they said, oh Lord, what have we done? And just then a voice boomed from that cloud, the voice of the Lord. It called out, Bubba, what's-his-name, and the other fella, yes, Lord, here we are, tell us, Lord, what shall we do? And the Lord said, repaint and thin no more. I am so happy that there are a few warm bodies in this sanctuary today. Repaint and thin no more. Friends, the word today is just 3 letters long. And yet the word contains within it oftentimes the weight of mountains bearing down on us. The word is sin.